Pastor John was a revered man in the city. His church, John Wonder Ministry, had thousands of members, and every Sunday the building overflowed with worshippers eager to hear his powerful sermons. Miracles happened in his ministry, and testimonies poured in from all corners. His followers adored him, calling him a man of wonder. But there was one thing that always raised eyebrows: his only child, Angela. Angela was the complete opposite of her father. She wanted nothing to do with church, the Bible, or anything related to God. While Pastor John preached holiness, Angela lived recklessly. She spent her nights in clubs, drank heavily, and smoked without care. She moved from one man to another, living the kind of life that many would call shameful. The church members whispered among themselves. They gossiped about her. How can the great man of God have such a daughter? Maybe Pastor John is not as holy as he seems. If he can't control his daughter, how can he lead us? Yet Pastor John remained unbothered. He never preached about Angela, his daughter, never scolded her in public, and never stopped her from living her life as she pleased. Despite the scandal surrounding his daughter, John Wonder Ministry continued to grow. More people came, more miracles happened, and testimonies multiplied. It was as if Angela's wayward life had no effect on her father's ministry. Some people whispered, "Is Pastor John using something else to grow his church? How can his ministry be flourishing while his daughter lives in sin? How can a powerful man of God have a daughter like this? Why is Pastor John never bothered? Why does his church keep growing despite his daughter's sinful life?" They believed that maybe he had sold his soul, that there was something unusual about his success. But no one could prove anything. Yet, strangely, the more Angela sinned, the more Pastor John's church grew. Each time she followed a new man, 100 new members joined the church. Each time she spent a night in a hotel, another miracle happened in John Wonder Ministry. Each time she embraced sin, her father's fame and wealth increased. What no one knew was that Angela's life of sin was no accident. But behind the pulpit, behind the miracles, lay a dark and terrifying secret. Many years ago, before Pastor John became famous, he was just another struggling preacher. His church was small and he had no money or influence. Desperate for success, he sought help from a secret occult group known as the Brotherhood of the Serpent. "Do you want power?" the cult leader asked. "Do you want the world to bow before you?" "Yes," Pastor John replied without hesitation. The cult leader smiled. "Then you must give us something precious." Pastor John was confused. "I have no money," he said. The cult leader laughed darkly. "Not your money, but your firstborn child." Pastor John froze. "What do you mean?" he asked. "Your wife is pregnant with a baby girl. Before your child is born, you will perform a ritual. You will take her ability to think for herself. She will be controlled by lust, and will never resist the urge to follow men. Each time she does, your power will increase." Pastor John hesitated, but the thought of fame, wealth, and a global ministry was too tempting. He agreed. That night he performed the dark ritual while his wife was sleeping, still pregnant with Angela. From that moment his destiny changed. Angela was born with no power over her own desires. From a young age she felt an uncontrollable urge to follow men. She never understood why. No matter how much she wanted to stop, she couldn't. It wasn't normal lust. It was something deeper, something spiritual. She became infamous in the city, moving from one man to another, unable to control herself. And each time she did, her father's church grew. People worshipped Pastor John, calling him a man of wonder. But little did they know that the same daughter they mocked was the secret behind her father's success. She was unable to resist men, drawn to the nightlife. The more she sinned, the bigger his church became. Each night she spent in a hotel with a stranger, another 100 people joined his church. Each time she drowned herself in alcohol, another miracle happened in his ministry. Each time she embraced sin, his name became even more powerful. And so, while the world saw a holy man, behind closed doors, he was a monster, feeding off his own daughter's destruction. But one fateful night, Angela was kidnapped. A gang of ruthless criminals ambushed her outside a nightclub, dragged her into a black van, and disappeared into the night. Hours later, her father received a call. "Pastor John," a deep voice sneered, "we have your daughter. If you want to see her alive, bring 10 million naira by tomorrow night." Most fathers would panic. Most fathers would run to the police. But Pastor John did neither. Instead, he walked into his secret room, a hidden door behind his bookshelf. Beneath his mansion lay a secret chamber, a cold, eerie room, filled with candles, ancient symbols, and a massive black serpent idol. It was the sacred altar of the Brotherhood of the Serpent. Pastor John knelt before the serpent idol. Then, in a deep and desperate voice, he began the incantation. "Brotherhood of the Serpent," he called, "I am in danger. My daughter has been taken. Without her, I am finished." The flames in the room flickered violently. The air grew heavy. "If she does not return, my ministry will crumble. I will loose my miracles, the great serpent. Please go and bring my daughter back." Then a low hissing sound filled the chamber. The idol's eyes glowed red. The shadows in the room twisted unnaturally as a giant black serpent slithered out from the darkness. Its body was covered in shimmering scaled patterns, and its golden eyes burned with an unnatural fire. Pastor John stepped back as the serpent rose high above him. "Your request has been heard. Your daughter will be returned." The serpent turned, vanishing into the darkness. At the kidnapper's hideout, an uncompleted building, inside a hidden bush, Angela sat, tied on a chair. The gang members laughed and drank, waiting for her father to bring the money. Then the light flickered. A sudden cold wind swept through the room. "Did you feel that?" one of the men asked. Before anyone could answer, a terrifying hiss echoed through the air. The men turned, and their blood ran cold. From the shadows, a massive black serpent emerged, its golden eyes glowing with fury. "What the hell is that?" one of the kidnappers screamed. The serpent struck like lightning. Immediately, it attacked one of the kidnappers as he collapsed lifeless. The other tried to run, but the serpent was faster. It coiled around 2 men at once, crushing their bones with a sickening crunch. The other kidnapper, shaking in terror, dropped his gun and fell to his knees. "Please, please have mercy," he begged. The serpent's eyes flickered, and then it struck. Angela, still tied to the chair, stared in horror as the monstrous snake turned its gaze toward her. For a moment she thought it would kill her too, but instead it slithered behind her, snapped the ropes with its fangs, and then vanished into the shadows. Angela stood up in surprise and began to find her way out. She ran as fast as her legs can carry her. When she reached home, her father was happy to see her, but Angela was still afraid. "Who are you, father?" "After the kidnappers called you for ransom, something strange happened," Angela asked. "You are safe, my child. That is all that matters." From the moment Angela returned home, she could not stop thinking about the mysterious black serpent that had saved her. Why would a giant snake appear out of nowhere? How did it know where to find her? Why did it kill only the kidnappers and leave her unharmed? And the strangest part, her father had never looked worried about her kidnapping. He did not call the police, and he did not beg the kidnappers, or even pay the ransom. Instead, he simply waited, and then she was mysteriously rescued. Deep inside her, fear began to grow. One evening, Angela met her closest friend, Bella, at a quiet cafe. Bella had always been the only person Angela trusted, the only one who didn't judge her wild lifestyle. Over a cup of coffee, Angela whispered, "Bella, I need to tell you something terrifying." Ella's eyes widened as she listened to the story about the kidnapping, the ransom call, and the giant serpent that had appeared out of nowhere and slaughtered the kidnappers. When she finished, Bella stared at her in shock. "This is strange," Bella said. "A snake saving a human, killing only your kidnappers? Angela, this is not normal." "I know," Angela whispered. "That's why I think my father is involved. I think he called that thing to save me." Bella shivered. "Angela, I have an uncle, a powerful prophet. If you really want to know the truth, we can go see him." Angela hesitated. She had never believed in prophets or pastors, but after what she had witnessed, she needed answers. "Okay," she agreed. "Take me to him." The next day, Bella took Angela to a small village far from the city. There, in a simple house, lived Prophet Elijah, a man known for his visions and powerful prayers. The moment Angela stepped into his home, Prophet Elijah turned to look at her, his old eyes filled with wisdom. "You are Pastor John's daughter," he said. "I have been expecting you." Angela's heart pounded. "You know who I am?" "Yes," the prophet replied, "and I know why you are here. You seek the truth about your father." Angela swallowed hard. "Please tell me, who is he? What was that thing that saved me?" Prophet Elijah sighed deeply and motioned for them to sit. Then he began to speak. "Your father, Pastor John, is not a man of God. He is a servant of the Brotherhood of the Serpent, a powerful occult group that gave him fame, wealth, and power." Angela gasped, her worst fears confirmed. "Many years ago, before you were born, your father made a terrible sacrifice. He traded your destiny for his success. That is why, no matter how hard you try, you are drawn to sin. It is not your fault, it is the spell he placed on you." Angela trembled. "Oh my God," the prophet continued. "The serpent that saved you was not a miracle, it was a demon, your father's guardian spirit. Whenever he is in danger, it protects him. But make no mistake, it is a monster, and it serves only the darkness. Your father is also responsible for the death of your mother." Tears filled Angela's eyes. "So, my father is truly evil." The prophet nodded. "He wears the mask of a holy man, but in secret he feeds on the souls of his followers. His miracles are false, and his power is stolen from the dark realm." Angela felt like the world was spinning around her. "But why did the serpent save me?" she asked, her voice shaking. Prophet Elijah's face grew serious. "Because without you, your father will fall. You are the key to his power, Angela. Each time you follow a man, his ministry grows. Each time you sin, he becomes stronger. That is why he cannot let anything happen to you." Angela gasped. "You mean I am the reason his church is powerful?" "Yes," the prophet confirmed. "You have been unknowingly fueling his evil empire." Angela buried her face in her hands. She had always thought she was just a lost girl, a sinner who couldn't control herself. But now she knew the truth. Her own father had cursed her before she was even born. Elle placed a comforting hand on her shoulder. "Angela, now that you know the truth, what will you do?" Angela looked up, her eyes burning with determination. "I have to stop him," she whispered. "I have to destroy my father before he destroys me." Prophet Elijah nodded solemnly. "Then listen carefully, my child. There is only one way to break the curse, but it will require great courage. Are you ready?" Angela clenched her fists. For the first time in her life, she was ready to fight back. "Tell me what to do." The prophet's eyes filled with urgency. "Listen carefully, Angela," he said. "Your father's power is tied to the dark covenant he made with the Brotherhood of the Serpent. To break that covenant, you must use the most sacred part of yourself, your blood." Angela's hands trembled. "My blood?" The prophet nodded. "Not just any blood. You must collect your early morning urine when you are on your monthly flow. Let the monthly flow drop inside the urine. That is when your body is at its most powerful. It carries the essence of life and can break any occultic spell. Angela's heart pounded. What do I do with it? She asked. Prophet Elijah's voice became firm. Take the urine and go to your father's church. Walk straight to the altar where he stands and pour it on him in front of the congregation. The moment it touches him, his secret will be exposed. The Brotherhood's hold over him will break, and he will be forced to confess his sins before everyone. Bella gasped. But Prophet, won't Pastor John fight back? The old man sighed. He will try. But if Angela follows my instructions carefully, if she does this while on her monthly flow, his powers will be useless, his demons will abandon him, and the truth will come out. Angela swallowed hard. And if I don't succeed? The prophet's face darkened. Then you will not survive. He will know what you try to do, and the Brotherhood will come for you. A cold shiver ran down Angela's spine. Bella grabbed her hand. Angela, are you sure about this? Angela closed her eyes, took a deep breath, and then nodded. I have no choice. I cannot let him control me anymore. It's time to end this. For the next few days, Angela waited for her monthly flow to begin. When it finally did, she followed Prophet Elijah's instructions carefully. At dawn, while the world was still asleep, she collected her first urine in a small glass bottle. Holding it in her hands, she whispered, This is my weapon. This is my freedom. She dressed in simple clothes, tied her hair up, and hid the bottle in her bag. Then, with Bella by her side, she set out for the John Wonder Ministry. That Sunday morning the church was packed with worshippers. Thousands had gathered to see Pastor John, the great man of God. As the choir sang, Angela and Bella slipped into the crowd. Pastor John stood at the altar, holding the microphone with a confident smile. Hallelujah, he shouted, and the congregation roared in response. Today is a day of miracles. Today the Lord will set you free. Angela clenched her fists. Liar. She took a deep breath, pushed past the people, and walked straight to the altar. Pastor John saw her and smiled. Ah, my beloved daughter, come, share your testimony with the church. But Angela didn't stop. She climbed onto the altar, pulled the bottle from her bag, and before anyone could react, she poured the urine all over him. The church fell silent. For a moment Pastor John stood there, drenched in Angela's urine, his face frozen in shock. Then he let out a terrifying scream. His body convulsed. His skin began to burn. His hands trembled as he dropped the microphone. No, no, he shrieked, falling to his knees. The congregation gasped in horror. Suddenly his voice changed. It became deep and monstrous, like something that wasn't human. You foolish girl, he growled. Do you know what you have done? Angela stepped back, her heart pounding. The church members screamed as Pastor John's body began to twist unnaturally. Dark smoke rose from his skin. His eyes turned completely black. Then he began to speak the truth. I am not a man of God, he confessed, his voice shaking. I have deceived you all. I made a covenant with the Brotherhood of the Serpent. My miracles were fake. My power came from darkness. Gasps filled the church. People cried out in shock and fear. Pastor John clutched his head, screaming as his secrets were ripped from his soul. I sold my daughter's destiny for power. Every time she sinned, my church grew. I used her as a sacrifice. I am also responsible for the death of my wife. The church erupted into chaos. Women screamed. Men fell to their knees. Some ran out of the building. Angela watched in horror as Pastor John's body began to decay before everyone's eyes. His skin cracked, his flesh blackened, and he collapsed onto the altar, lifeless. At that moment, the massive serpent idol hidden beneath the church shattered into pieces. The spell was broken. Freedom at last. Angela stood there, tears streaming down her face. She could feel it, the weight lifting off her soul. For the first time in her life, she felt free. Bella rushed to her side, grabbing her hand. "Angela, we did it," she cried. The remaining church members looked at Angela with shock. The empire of lies had fallen, the truth had finally won, and Angela's destiny was hers once again.